My neighbor refused to pay the snow plow, so we buried his driveway. The sound of 700 horsepower screaming in agony is usually a tragedy to anyone who appreciates machinery, but this morning, standing at my living room window with a steaming mug of black coffee, it sounded like a symphony. It was a guttural, mechanical roar, followed immediately by the high-pitched whine of rubber spinning uselessly against hard-packed ice. I took a sip of coffee and watched the show. Down at the end of the driveway, a massive, pristine, charcoal gray Ram 1500 TRX was suspended in the air like a toy placed on a wedding cake. The wheels, those massive, knobby, off-road tires that cost more than my first car, were spinning freely, throwing rooster tails of snow 10 feet into the air, catching absolutely nothing but atmosphere. The driver's door flew open, and Greg spilled out. He wasn't wearing his winter gear. He was wearing a slim-fit navy suit and Italian loafers that were currently disappearing into 2 feet of slush. He kicked the tire. He screamed something that got swallowed by the wind. Then, he looked up at my house. I raised my mug in a toast. Greg flipped me off. It was the most satisfying moment of my entire adult life. To understand why I let a grown man strand a $100,000 truck on a snowbank, you have to understand where we live. We aren't in the suburbs. We live on Black Bear Lane, a private, dead-end spur that snakes its way up a steep ridgeline in the mountains. There are only 3 houses up here. There's me at the top, Mrs. Higgins, a sweet widow in her 70s, in the middle, and the big house at the bottom near the main road. Living on a private road means the city doesn't plow us. The county doesn't plow us. If we want to get out, we handle it ourselves. For 15 years, the unspoken social contract was simple. We split the cost. We hire Sully, a local guy with a massive plow attached to a dump truck, to clear the half-mile stretch. It costs $300 a pop, $100 each. Simple, fair, necessary. Then the big house sold. The previous owners were great. They left cash in my mailbox before the first flake fell. But 6 months ago, they moved to Florida and sold the place to Greg. Greg is a type. You know the type. He works in high-yield fintech or something equally vague and lucrative. He moved out here to connect with nature, which apparently involves installing stadium-grade floodlights that blind the local owls and buying a truck that is technically capable of invading a small country. I tried to be neighborly. I really did. I brought him a bottle of bourbon when he moved in. He looked at the label, smirked, and said, "Cute. I usually drink Pappy, but this will do for cooking." That was strike 1. Strike 2 was the leaf blower incident, but I digress. We're here to talk about the snow. The forecast for yesterday, January 22nd, was apocalyptic. The weatherman was using words like bomb cyclone and historic accumulation. They were calling for 30 inches of heavy, wet concrete snow in 24 hours. I went down to Greg's house the day before the storm hit. I walked down the steep grade, feeling the temperature dropping, the air smelling like ozone and ice. I knocked on his massive oak door. Greg answered wearing a headset. He didn't take it off. "Yeah, what's up, Dan?" he asked, looking past me at his driveway. "Hey Greg," I said, zipping my jacket higher. "Storm's coming. Big one. I'm calling Sully to put us on the schedule for tomorrow morning. It's gonna be a heavy job, probably 300 total. Just need your $100. Greg laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. It was a scoff, a sharp exhalation of air through his nose. $100. He leaned against the doorframe, crossing his arms. "For what? To scrape the road? To plow us out?" I said slowly. "We split it 3 ways. Me, you, and Mrs. Higgins." "Yeah, I'm not doing that. Listen, I need to prepare you for the level of petty we are about to achieve. This isn't just about leaving a patch of snow. Sully has been plowing these mountains for 40 years. He's a man who has seen everything, and the only thing he hates more than black ice is a flatlander with an attitude. What we cooked up wasn't just malicious compliance, it was civil engineering weaponized for revenge. By the time the sun rises, Greg isn't just going to be stuck, he's going to be a prisoner in his own architectural digest fortress. Click here to watch full video.